Hi everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Today we are going to talk about the 10 possible reasons why your spell didn't work. How come you haven't seen any results? This is a question that I get all the time. All the time. People say, I did a spell, but I just don't understand why the results didn't come. Now, before we go into the list of reasons, I always tell people, just because it hasn't worked yet doesn't necessarily mean that it's not still in the process of working. Results don't come overnight, nor is there really a exact time frame that whatever it is you're trying to draw in, manifest, or get rid of, or just the condition you're trying to change is going to happen in this set amount of time. And people kind of get stuck on this. Well, if it hasn't manifested and it's been this many weeks or it's been this many days or whatnot, then it must not be working. And, if there was a way to pinpoint, like if you do this spell in 21 days, such and such is going to happen, well, then it wouldn't be magic anymore. It would be science. So that is one reason in particular that you have to kind of keep in mind when you are hoping to see some significant changes from the work that you've done, okay? All right, so I have some notes here. I narrowed it down to just 10. There's many reasons, okay? And the ones that we're gonna go over today, some of these may apply to you. It could be the possible reason. None of them could be the reason, or they all could possibly be the reason why you haven't seen any results. But I'm hoping that this might help answer some questions, give you a little clarity, and then maybe just help you figure out what along the line could you change so that next time you will have a better outcome. All right. So let's get started here. Number 10. Unclear intentions. Unclear and mixed intentions, not really being specific about what it is that you want. And an example of that is, you want a job and you decide you're going to do a job spell because obviously you need to make some money. Okay, that's great. So you go and you get your candle and your supplies or whatever the ritual calls for, and you're going to sit down and do this job spell. Well, what type of job? It's important to really kind of think about it. You need to be very clear on what you want. What kind of job do you want? How much money are you looking to make? How far, are you willing to travel for this job? Are there particular days that you are able to work or you're not able to work? Do you want to work in retail or do you want to work in as an administrative assistant? So that's one thing that is important to keep in mind, because when you do a spell and you're like, all right, universe, I want a job. Well, the universe doesn't know what to do with that. A job isn't telling or asking the universe to really bring you specifically what you need. Also being mixed about what you want. It's like, okay, well, I think I want to work at Nordstrom's, but well, maybe not really. I don't really want to deal with clothes and shoes, so maybe I want to work at the hospital, or I know I can make a lot of tips if I worked at a restaurant. You have to be clear. You can't just let's see, it's okay to be open to what the universe brings you, but you've got to have some sort of baseline to send out. So, the spirits or the energy or whatever it is that you're working with can bring you what you need. So be very clear, be very specific. Really take your time to focus in on what the desired outcome is going to be when you get ready to do your ritual. Let's see, number 9, incomplete spell work, not finishing it or not following the steps. So what I mean by that is, if a spell requires candles to be lit at a specific time for 9 days in a row, it has to be done for 9, not 8.5, not 6 and you skipped a day and then you started again. It has to be done, and there's a reason. Rituals and spells have a sequence of the way things are done for a reason, because it's worked before. That's why somebody wrote it and shared it, because they know if you do it like this, then you could possibly get the results you're looking for. Oftentimes, if I work with a client and I advise them, I tell a lot of my clients to do ritual baths for removing negative energy. And I may, depending on what we're working on, it's not the same for everyone, but there may be a specific night of the week or a moon phase that I say, well, make sure you do your ritual bath. You know, you got to get it done tomorrow, you got to get it done the next day. And they say okay, and then we come back together for a follow-up, you know, a few days later or whatnot, and they didn't do it. Either they forgot, or they got off work late, or something came up and had an emergency, you know, or it just didn't get done that day, or it was supposed to, or just didn't get done at all. And you know, spells can be done at any time. It's not like, well, let me say this. There's a reason that I tell somebody to do something on a particular day. Now, yes, it can still be done, but is it going to be as effective? I don't know. Would it been more effective had it been done when I advised it? Most likely. That's why I said do it at this time. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Spells can be done at any time, any time that you need to do them. However, there are certain times that you will have a better chance of seeing the results that you're looking for, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So finishing the work, plan for it. If you know that you work an odd schedule, or you may not or be able to complete it, or you're going out of town, you know, you start a honey jar that requires having a candle burned on it 3 times a week, or for the first 7 days, and you know you're leaving town in a couple of days and you're gonna have to stop, well, you might want to reconsider if this is even worth starting in the first place. So keep that in mind. Number 8, timing. Like I was saying, spells can be done at any time. However, there are certain energies that are stronger at certain points. New moon, full moon, waning. There are some particular days of the week, or maybe even the time of the day, that it's best to harness in on that energy. So if a spell calls for doing it on a Friday night, you know, midnight, sitting in ritual, lighting your candles and doing it, then, you know, if you did it at 5:30 in the afternoon, chances are you didn't kind of ride in on the strongest peak of that energy. So if you're going to spend your time and spend your money of getting these supplies and going through all of this stuff to do this work, why not do it when it has the most potential of working for you? Again, of course, things come up, schedules, life happens, totally understandable, but for the most part, you do want to try to plan for this. So it's important to know ahead of time. Number 7, ingredients, tools, changing them up a little bit can make the world of difference. So a money spell, well, not universal color, but let's just say you get a green candle, you're going to do a money spell. Okay, that makes perfect sense. If I told you, or if you told me, I'd say, okay, yeah, you're doing a money ritual. Of course, you'd use a money candle, right? Now, depending on the type of magic you practice, the culture or tradition you come from, you could tell somebody else, you know, let's say you told someone from another country, or someone that practices a totally different type of magic, that you used a green candle for a money spell. And they were like, well, they use red because in their culture, red symbolizes money and good luck and prosperity. And they're like, well, you'd probably get a better result if you used red. I'm just using this as an example. So, you know, both are true, basically, and perhaps switching it up, you might get different results. Now, that a little bit applies a little bit more to herbs and oils. And in love spells, roses are often used in love spells. If you Google a love spell, you'll find, you know, 100 of them, and 99 of them will say use roses, because they're used for attracting, and they're kind of the universal symbolic flower that represents love. However, if you were doing a love spell, let's say just to meet somebody new, versus you're doing a love spell because you're said, you know what, I am ready for my perfect mate. I am ready for the love of my life. I'm ready to meet my husband or wife. I want something deep-rooted and committed. I'm tired of dating. I want to meet the one. Then you're doing this love spell with roses, and you're like, I'm meeting people, or not, but let's just say you're meeting people, but you know that you haven't met that person that you have that connection with. Well, perhaps adding something might give you the results you're looking for, like coriander. Coriander is often added to love spells for attracting true love, or like, your soulmate, your twin flame. So knowing that, if you just add a little dash of coriander, that might make that much of a difference of the person that you attract to you. So, switch it out, play with it, do a little research. If something you've been doing it and is not working, is there an alternative? That goes back to being very specific. You have to know what you want. If you know that you're looking for true love, then you would say, let me find herbs that are associated for that, versus if you just want to go out and have a good time, then you may want to use herbs and oils just to meet someone. Okay, so that could be a reason. Number 6, working magic when you're not feeling good or when the time isn't right. And this can be if you're under the weather, you've had a really, really bad day, you have a lot going on, you're just not focused, you're not there, you're maybe not emotionally there, perhaps the situation that you are trying to work on has been very taxing, it's been very draining, it's, you're so consumed with the problem itself, it's almost too hard to even, focus on doing the work in order to change it. Another example of that is being off balance, or maybe you're at home, you're doing your ritual in the middle of your living room, and you have a roommate that came home from vacation early and bust in on you, so you have to stop your ritual. Okay, or you got off work late, or you got called into work early and you don't have a lot of time, but you want to do it. Your mind is distracted because you're still focusing on trying to hurry up and rush through it instead of giving it the adequate amount of time, the adequate amount of energy. So that's very important also. You have to be focused, you have to be present. When you're working your magic, that has to be the only thing that is in the forefront of your mind at that time. So, I don't know if this has happened to you before, but if it has, that might be something you want to think about. Number 4, having negative energy. Now, someone will be like, I'm not a negative person. It's not the same thing. You don't have to be a negative person to pick up negative energy. Things happen to us all the time. We're around people all the time. You sat in traffic and you were stuck on the freeway for 2 hours. You ran out of gas. Somebody flipped you off in traffic. You got fussed at by your coworker. I mean, there's a number of reasons. That's energy. Excuse me. And so that energy needs to be cleared away on a regular basis, which is why they often say take a shower, take a bath before you get ready to sit down to do your work, because anything that's on you, in your aura, in your energy field, could possibly block or repel something that you're trying to bring to you. I have a video on my channel also about some ways to help remove negative energy. And if you've never done a ritual bath or a cleansing ritual for yourself in your entire life, then you will want to do that, because if you live anywhere where you have to be outside, amongst other human beings, you've picked up some negativity, okay? And that's even if you're a happy, nice person. It's not about the personality, it's about the energy and vibration that we're all kind of maneuvering through on a daily basis, okay? Number 3, when you are deciding in your ritual, are you going to be working with a specific deity? Is there a god or goddess that you're calling upon? Are you just working with the elements? Who are you going to ask for help? Is it an ancestor, a loved one that's deceased? Whomever it is, approaching them the proper way. Now, demanding, Saint Expedite, I need you to do this by, Thursday, or you're not getting your pound cake. Well, you know what? That's not going to work, okay? Being demanding of the whatever universal energy, divine creator, whomever it is that you're going to help you, you got to kind of be humble. You got to be gracious, and you can't just expect that just because you are presenting or giving an offering or doing the work that they have to deliver, okay? It's just like if you constantly called a friend of yours all the time asking for a favor and you weren't very nice about it, chances are at some point they're going to stop doing it. So just be very mindful. You should also do some research. If you find a spell and it says to call upon a specific deity or god or goddess or something like that, do your homework about them. Don't just call upon someone or something. You don't know what it is. You don't know how they work. You don't know if there's going to be any karmic debt from asking them to come into your life to fix this. Find out a little information. Is there a proper way to address them? Is there a specific offering that you should be giving to them? And that's a whole nother video. But also offerings, I'll just throw this in here really quickly. A lot of times I hear people say, well, I gave the offerings and I didn't get any results. There is a difference in giving an offering out of a symbol of gratitude, out of wanting to give some energy to whomever you're asking to help you, versus giving an offering for something in return. So I gave an offering and I didn't get anything, I didn't get my results. Well, that's why, okay? And none of us can hide from the universe or the spirits or the divine source, whatever you refer to it as. So your true intentions, regardless of how much you try to fake it, are known. So that's something else to kind of toy around, and you might want to reflect on that a little bit. Number 2, how do I want to put this? Your motives. Being a nice person, being cool, always trying to help someone and all that, that's amazing. If that's the type of person you are, that is very, very good. However, that's not always the determining factor. And what I mean is, if the intentions behind the reason that you're doing a spell deep down are really spiteful or just not a good reason, just not a nice reason, they probably won't be granted. And okay, I'm just going to use this as an example. You are in a relationship with someone, and for whatever reason, things aren't working out, and that person decides to leave you, and they move on with someone else. And you're upset, obviously. You're mad. You're like, you broke up with me. Whatever the reason is. It's irrelevant why the person broke up with you. They broke up with you. And now you want to do a love spell to get them back. But your intentions aren't to get them back because, oh my God, I'm so madly in love with them, I can't live without you, I really want to work it out, I'm going to be a better person or try to make this work. Your intentions are, no, I'm going to do this love spell and I'm going to break you up and bring you back to me just so I can do the same thing to you so you can see how it feels. Now, we're human. We're emotional. Paying somebody back for how they made you feel probably will feel good, but is it the right thing to do? I don't know. This video isn't about morality. But my point is, if your intentions behind the work really, really are to cause, and again, this is just an example, if it's to cause harm, then it may not be granted. And I mean that if the person really didn't do anything to you. I'm not talking about, your spouse went out and cheated on you and stole all your money and left you, with the credit card bill and no money to pay the rent, and they just ran off. Well, that's different, or if your coworker screwed up at work and blamed you for it and you got fired, well, you know what? Yeah, they probably do deserve whatever comeuppings is going to happen. But I'm saying, someone genuinely just did something that you didn't agree with or you didn't like, or your ego got bruised, or for whatever reason, and you like, I'm gonna get this person back. And yeah, that's still seen. You can be a sweet and nice to everybody else, but you're probably not gonna get the results, okay? Also, if let's say you're doing spells to attract a new love, or you want a new car, or you're trying to call in a new job for money to have your first mortgage and buy a house, but you steal your coworker's lunch every day and you flip people the bird, and you spread really ugly rumors about someone, then chances are you're blocking your blessings. And it doesn't matter how many candles you burn or who does the work, or if you hire someone else to do it, you can't ask for something to come to you, but then be not a good person, so to speak, or just do really malicious stuff to people and expect to get this blessing. So you've got to keep that in mind. You really got to kind of take a look at yourself and say, what is it that's blocking me? Am I the reason that what I'm asking for isn't manifesting? It's possible. Not saying that it is. I don't want to offend anybody out there, but it is very possible. All right, and number 1. And this is the hardest one for most people to accept. Maybe the situation or the person or whatever it is that you're working on, maybe it's not for you, okay? Maybe the time of your life right now, as much as you may want something, is not the appropriate time for what you're asking for. So, maybe the person that you want to be with later down the line is going to end up doing something that's going to cause more harm than good. And they're just ideally not the right person. Perhaps you are trying to get rid of a situation or change something that is a life lesson that you have to experience. Maybe it is you're repaying your karma for something. This is just something that you have to experience for whatever reason. Or it's not being given to you because there's something else better out there. And little do you know it right now, but you're kind of cheating yourself by settling. You don't even know you're settling. You don't even know that there's something 3 times better than what you're asking for trying to get to you, but you're not able to see that because you're so focused on this, and you're getting frustrated because you're not getting it. So sometimes when you do spiritual work, you do a spell and you don't get the results that you want, even though you don't see it at that moment, it is a possibility that that is what's really in your best interest in the long run, in the big picture. Do you follow me? You see what I'm saying here? So you got to kind of, after some point, be willing to accept that, all right? And I do tell people sometimes, instead of asking, especially in love relationships or whatnot, it's okay to have the ideal kind of partner you want, but sometimes you can just simply ask for, bring me whatever is going to be in my best interest. So being open to what the universe can bring you can surprisingly really shock you, because you may get a lot more than what you actually bargained for. Now, the last thing I want to throw in here, which I didn't add to the list, but being very anxious, doubtful, worried, like, oh my God, I need these results immediately. And I'm not talking about a situation that you just found out tomorrow, your company's laying off 150 people and you might be one of them. That's different. I'm talking, you are doing the work for something and you're so like, oh, when is it gonna happen? Don't do that, okay? That is counterproductive. That will do the complete opposite. It will slow the process of what you're trying to manifest down, if not block it and stop it from coming altogether. If you're doubtful that the work is going to work in the beginning, chances are it isn't. If you're worried that it's going to backfire, then you're already going into it with that mind frame. And that is not even, even if you went to someone else to do the work for you, your energy still plays a part in it. So you could potentially end up missing out on having those results manifest, feeling like that. So they say the best spells are the ones that you set it and forget it. And of course, it's hard for us to forget something, especially if we're really hopeful that we'll get the results that we want. And being hopeful there's nothing wrong with being hopeful, but being anxious and just too overly consumed about, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Oh my God, what if it doesn't happen? It's probably not going to happen if that's, what you're thinking. And I'm just being 100% honest. This is from my experience. This is what I tell clients. So a little shift in your thinking, a little, altering an ingredient or two, maybe doing a little reflecting and self-evaluating about what your real intentions are, or something is just sitting down and taking some time to plan and being really specific about what you want, can make a world of difference in the results that you get. Okay, so I really hope that this information gets to help someone and gives you a little clarity, and you can go back and look at what you've done and see if maybe tweaking something for the future is all that you need to do. Okay, all right, you guys, thank you for watching. As always, you're welcome to leave a question or comment below. You can find me either on Facebook, Jasmine Atten, Mystic at the Crossroads. You can reach me through my website at oneritualaway.com, or follow me on Instagram at oneritualaway. I love you so much. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.